there everyone, LuxAlgo just rolled out a massive new update to their Smart Money Concepts indicator, and in this video I'm going to show you guys the best settings to use so you can set it up the right way and avoid wasting your time with the wrong chart setups, and we're going to be doing this step by step so you guys don't leave with any questions. First of all, go over here to Indicators, Metrics, and Strategies and just type in Smart Money. At the top under Community, you're going to see Smart Money Concepts SMC LuxAlgo by LuxAlgo with around 124,000 uses. Give that a click right there. Before we go any further, if you guys like this type of content, please consider giving the video a like and a subscribe. It helps out the channel a lot. Following this, I want you guys to go over here to Settings, and we're going to have a bunch of stuff in here, and we're going to be fine-tuning everything depending on what type of trader you are. And for this video, first, we're going to be starting off with swing trading, and then we're going to go over to day trading, all right? So for historical mode, this is where we're going to be keeping it at. Present doesn't really help many people. It only gives you the most recent data. I don't know who really likes that. I want to have everything on my screen. If you guys don't like a cluttered screen, maybe, but it's better to be able to back test and see how accurate the indicator has been over the past few weeks and months, so you can actually see if you should be trusting it at all. Because for some stocks, some cryptocurrency, some things, it just doesn't work that well, and it's better to be able to see it and not use it at all in those circumstances. Next up for style, we're going to have colored or monochrome. Most of you guys will leave this as colored. If you guys don't like any color and you want it to be gray on the background, monochrome it is. But for the majority of you guys, red is bad or resistance. Green is kind of more of a support level. Easy to say. After this, you have colored candles right here. If you go through the little eye right there, it'll say display additional candles with a color reflecting the current trend detected by structure. Think of this being your simple buy and sell signals, or big money is buying right now versus big money is selling right now if you want to go with the Smart Money Concepts model. So if I were to get out of this, you can see, oh, you saw that right there. See how it's kind of changing colors back and forth, right? If you guys want to fix this before we go to the next part, go back to the indicator right here, LuxAlgo Smart Money Concepts, go to More, and then right here under Visual Order, click Bring It to the Front, and now no matter where I click, no matter what I do, it's going to stay those same colors. You'll see that it had a bullish change of character right here, but it went straight back down, right? This one worked out. This one was good. This bearish one was good. This one was good to a degree up to resistance. This one wasn't good. This one was good, and so forth, right? So it's good to be able to kind of back test that if you want to use the color candles, especially if you don't want to have so much stuff on your screen like change of characters and stuff like that. For me, I only keep this on while day trading. So for most of you guys, I think it'll probably be off during swing trading, but for day trading, you guys will be fine. Next up, you got to show internal structure. This is basically your change of characters, your break of structures, and things of that nature. And for me, I'm going to keep both of these on all. If you guys don't care about break of structures and you guys only want change of characters, this is where you can make that change. I prefer to see everything going on. The one thing I would say is if you guys are doing a little bit of day trading here, perhaps the best way to do this is to have the Confluence filter on. This just means if you guys are having a lot of signals that are very close, it actually gets rid of some of the less likely signals, and it just gives you the strongest signals. That way you're not like getting overwhelmed with like buy signal versus short signal versus buy versus short over and over and over again. And the one thing I would say here for internal label size, I will never have it tiny. I put all of mine to normal. I think, in fact, these are too small, and that's because I'm using 175% zoom. Even here, my bad eyesight, because I look at computers all day, you know, I can see it, but not to the degree I want to. I'm zoomed in at 175% so you guys can see everything going on my charts. But personally, normal is the best size they have, and that's what I'm going to recommend that you guys use. Following that, we're going to be going over here to swing structure, which is a little bit different than internal structure. Swing structure is just a little bit more of a powerful signal than internal structure. So think of it, internal structure is like, whoa, this is going to be a massive move, where internal structure is like, okay, this could be a decent move for the next few hours, next few days. For the swing label size, we're going to keep it to normal. I'm going to keep it for break of structure and change of character to all for both the bullish structure and the bearish structure. If you guys notice that you're in a very positive bullish trend and you only want to be looking for signals that are making you believe you want to buy something, you can turn off the bullish structure if you wanted to, but most people are just going to keep this on all the time, all right? Next up, you're going to show swing points. You can see right here, display swing point as labels on the chart. I never use this. I don't preferably like to use swing points all too much. You can see that little thing that popped up right there. Next, the low highs, all that type of stuff. I've never personally liked it. It doesn't really add too much over here. But if you guys like it, you guys can use it. I just don't use it in my day-to-day trades too much. It's a little extra tip, but you can see there's a localized high right there and a low over here. You can see that without having to have this indicator on there, right? Next up, we're going to be talking about order blocks. We're going to have internal order blocks and swing order blocks. Just like over here when we talked about internal structure and swing structure, internal order blocks are valuable, but swing order blocks are more powerful. Most people are going to be using internal order blocks just because it's the easiest way to kind of find out more recent data, because swing order blocks are going to be looking at much longer periods of data to give you those much stronger levels of support. So if I were to add on the swing order blocks right here, you're going to see that not much changes on this screen. But if we were to back up a little bit further here, a lot of them were just added way down here. And we don't need to really consider Bitcoin getting back down to $16,000. And that's why you see a lot of people not using them on the swing charts as much. But on the 15-minute charts and so forth, you will see a lot of them popping up, where you have a lot of them that are, if I can move this right here, swing order blocks. See how I got rid of those powerful ones right there? And I left the smaller, weaker ones right over here. If you guys want to have the extra confidence, swing order blocks are there. I usually mitigate this to 3 so I don't get too much clutter. And now I know I could try to play some of these bounces if we have a little bit of a reversal, perhaps a breakdown. You guys get where I'm going with that one. After this, we're going to be going to order block filter. There's ATR and there's cumulative mean range. It'll give you a little bit of an idea what's happening here, but it is recommended to use the cumulative mean range when a low amount of data is available. So 99.9% of the time, the ATR is what you guys want to use. The cumulative mean range is if your stock or your cryptocurrency has IPO'd in the last few weeks and there's just not that much data. Cumulative mean range is where you guys are going to want to go. I don't know if many of you guys do that, but if you guys do, there's an option for that in Smart Money Concepts. Next up, we're going to have order block mitigation. You have high, low, and this basically says select what values to use for order block mitigation. I always use high and lows just so I get the full swing. But if you guys want to be a little bit more conservative, you guys can go with the close and it'll adjust things ever so slightly. You see how there's one more order block right there? I don't think that's too much of a necessity for me, but if you guys like to have that extra information, you guys have the option. For me though, it's always going to be high, low. Following that, you guys can change the colors of the order blocks if you guys so desire. I've been so used to this over the years that I've never bothered to change any of the colors, unfortunately for me. But if you guys don't like those colors, if you don't like red and blue, maybe you want red and green or green and yellow, black and yellow, I don't know. You have the opportunity to change it right here. And it's very easy to do so. Click on the internal bullish order. You can change the color to whatever you want it to be, and you can change all of it like that. For me, I don't do any of that type of stuff, so I keep it pretty darn plain. But if you guys have your personalized schemes and colors, that's a great way to do it. Next up, we have equal high lows. This is just small amounts of levels of resistance that's kind of added on. You can see there's an equal high right here. And this is just telling you, hey, there's some resistance right here. Be careful over the next few hours because there may be a drop. And you can see there was a drop that was followed by a large move, but there was that drop. They don't necessarily pop up too much on the 4-hour charts, not at all. But if you were to go to the 5-minute chart, zoom in a little bit, they're more likely going to pop up on stuff like this, especially if we've been going in a little bit more of a choppy zone. And in this case, they're not even popping up that much. There's a little one right there, a little one right there. I guess, yeah, this is much more choppy, isn't it? Equal high, equal high. They're just giving you little bits of resistance to say, hey, you might be looking at a reversal here. It might be worth it to take a short or go in the opposite direction. So we have equal highs over here. And then we also have equal lows right here, where you can see we might have a little bit of a bump coming up temporarily. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But it's just a little bit of extra information for your brain to calculate and move on. Now, you guys can always make this normal size if you want to. I actually don't use this indicator at all as part of it, so I'm going to keep mine off. I already can see there's a level of support there. My brain can see it. But if you're new to trading and you just want to see, oh, that's the equal high low, that means that there's a support level right here that I can use this in some way for maybe some scalping or day trading. Yes, you can definitely use that, especially if you see it on a weekly chart or a daily chart and you want to do some multi-hour trades within that type of bounce because you know where the support level is. You can definitely use that. If you guys need it, add it. If you guys don't, you guys don't need to. Normally, if I see that, I'll just add my own little bar right there, my own little line, and I'll kind of go off of that myself. Following that, you have bar confirmation. This is basically the setting, you're fine-tuning the equal high-low. Number of bars used to confirm equal highs and equal lows. the smaller this number, the more signals you're going to get. If you guys do want to have a really consistent one, I think 6 to 5 is going to be better. That way it only pops up when it's really important in my mind. And it's not going to be like, oh yeah, this was a weak low, this was a weak high. Oh, we broke out above it, we broke down below it so easily. So it wasn't even that great of a support or resistance level. It just makes it a little bit easier. And as far as the threshold, sensitivity threshold between 0 and 1, used for the detection of equal highs and lows. Lower values will return fewer but more pertinent results. Most of you guys, I would say keep this at 0.1. I don't like having too many settings at all. So 0.1, 5, the best combination I found so far. And with label size, keep it normal so you guys can actually see how large it is. Following that, we have fair value gaps. You guys can have these on with an auto threshold. Before we click this on very fast, the auto threshold basically filters out non-significant fair value gaps. And if you guys know anything about fair value gaps, they're everywhere. They are everywhere on every chart. It is very hard to not see them once you guys are used to it. There are so many of them, and it's a very confusing thing for new traders, because once you've learned what they are, there's a fair value gap right there. There's a fair value gap right there. There's a fair value gap right there, and right there, right? And right there. They're all over the place. But for this will get rid of a few of them, so you're only focusing on the most important ones. So for me right now, I'm going to go to fair value gaps. I'm going to turn it on, and you're going to see a few of them that manage to pop up here on Bitcoin's price action. And they're a little bit hard to see because of the dark red right now, but there's a fair value gap right there, fair value gap right there, right there, right there. And these are the ones that are being filtered out, right? There's usually a lot more on your screen. Personally, as I see it, I can go over here to the 15-minute chart. You'll see some green ones right there, some green ones right there, there, all over the place. Typically, and you see actually Bitcoin having a nice little boom at this point in time. Typically, I will keep these off because I just don't use them. I don't like trading off of fair value gaps. I like looking at previous levels of support and resistance along with momentum. But if you guys understand what fair value gaps are and how the price will try to come back down to them before moving back up, which in this example, you can see a fair value gap right here. We came back into contact with the fair value gap before going higher, came back into contact temporarily before going higher, came back into contact with the wick right there before going higher. If you guys like to trade using them, I would say this is a good one to have. On top of that, you could also go to fair value gap LuxAlgo, and they have a dedicated fair value gap indicator that's adjacent to this one. So I would even say if you guys want to do fair value gaps, use this indicator and then go here and then turn the fair value gap one over here off. Okay, but for now we're going to assume that you guys want to have it on so we can change a few more things. You can go over here to time frame, and if you guys want to trade off of the daily charts fair value gap, you can set this to the daily chart, and so you're going to see fair value gaps. Here's the 4-hour chart. Let me see if I can find a fair value gap that's large enough for us to use. There we go. All right, zoom back in a little bit. So this is a fair value gap on the daily chart, but we're looking at it from a 15-minute chart perspective. So the fair value gap was here. We broke down below it. Price wanted to get back to it temporarily, which we did, and then it continued to go back down in reverse. So if you were looking to open a position for a short, that would have been an opportunity for you guys to do that right there. Okay. That's how it works. It's a very simple strategy. Some people like to do that. Some people don't. For me, I will always keep this on chart for the most part, unless I'm doing a strategy like that. And then of course, if you want to extend the fair value gap, which means you just want it to extend further out so you can see it more like a bar, you can just change that number and it's going to basically extend it out for you just a little bit more. All right. Nice, easy way to look at it. For me, I do it one because I don't want to have all the clutter on my charts, but that's just something I would say you guys can do if you guys want to. 1 is good, 10 is fine, 20 you're kind of doing a little bit too much. But on smaller time frames, maybe you need to have that just to kind of give yourself a makeshift order block, if you will, kind of something similar, so your brain can be like, oh, I need to keep an eye out for that, because if it's too small, sometimes your brain just skips over it. Following that, we're going to be looking at highs and lows MTF. This is a very basic. It just gives you some of the high-low levels for the week. So basically, if I go over to the 15-minute chart right here, you're going to see a couple lines add up to the most recent. If I go all the way to the most recent data, there you go. So this was yesterday's high, this was yesterday's low, and you can see right now we're breaking above that. Typically, this is a level of resistance that if you break above it, good things are bound to happen. Similarly, if you break down below this level, bad things are going to be happening. good things, obviously, if you're shorting. But the same thing applies here when we're talking about the weekly and the monthly. The daily is good. The weekly is even more powerful. So you can see right here, this line just popped up on the bottom right there. It's faint, I know, but that's the weekly low, right? And that's even more powerful than you got the monthly low as well. Sometimes you'll see the monthly low just as low as the weekly and stuff, especially at the beginning of the month. But I don't usually have these on unless I'm thinking about doing something as a long-term trade, or if I notice that, oh yeah, we are kind of close to the monthly high right now and I'm day trading, maybe it'll be a little bit better for me to kind of cool off a little bit on this trade here. Following that, we have premium discount zones. Premium versus discount zones, basically you're buying at a little bit of a rich level. Oh, you're buying at a really good cheap level. That's basically what it's telling you. So if I were to add this on very fast, you're going to see some levels pop up right here. Discount levels, equilibrium levels, and premium levels. Typically when I'm going along, I don't want to be by the premium levels. I want to be closer to the discount levels and ride the wave, especially when I'm looking at momentum and things like that. But for this for this type of trade that you're looking at right now, you're at a clear level of resistance. You're going to see some type of resistance right here. There's no real need to be going all in and buying at this point, unless you're looking at some type of breakout or other technical thing within the larger chart setup. But for right now, with the data we have, I like to buy stuff. I love to buy stuff when it's closer to the equilibrium because you can get a lot more momentum out of it. Whereas if you're looking to kind of buy towards the premium, you can still make money, but you're also adding on a lot more risk because your stop losses are going to be much further down here, right? Instead of buying around the equilibrium, having a stop loss there or there and riding the wave and being happy, if you buy up here, your stop loss is way down here, way down here. It's not a good look. So it just helps you mitigate some of those concerns that you may have about how much money you're willing to really lose, because typically you want a 3-to-1 ratio. So if you're risking $10 on the trade risking losing $10 for the trade, you want to be able to earn at least $30 for it. That's the 3-to-1 ratio. Or if you're a little bit more delicate, you want to do scalping, maybe a 2-to-1 ratio there as well. So those are the settings I would say for most of you guys right now. I feel like we kind of hopped into both the day trading and the swing trading aspects, but just in case you guys want to know more about swing trading, the swing trading is this without a lot more settings. So what I'll do is I'll turn off the show strong weak high lows. I'll turn off the swing order blocks. I'll turn off the fair value gaps, and I'll turn off the premium zones. And then from there, I'll usually add it onto an all chart patterns indicator. And then from there, I'll trade off of the setups I see. All right, and with these types of indicators, you can see there's tons of different things. And if you prefer, maybe this will make it a little bit easier for your eyes to see. You can go to colored candles, and you can see a rising wedge breakdown with bearish momentum coming from the change of character. I'll take that short and I'll write it down. Right over here, the same thing happened. Bearish right here after the breakdown, continued to go down, retested that. Bottom right over here, broke out temporarily. I don't trade that because the momentum is still bearish, but you can see those wedges and how they work out. If you see a breakout that's happening on a falling wedge, well, guess what? It didn't really do too much because it was still bearish at the time. Nice, easy ways to kind of make some money. Nice, easy ways to see what's going on. Change of characters can help you a lot. Change of character turn bullish. You wait for it to pull back to a support level, or in this case, some of those moving averages, and you can see how things are working out fairly well. The bounce off of this move right here, you can bought right there off the support level from that pattern. Rode it up to a level of resistance and be done with it. Now you're seeing that you're looking at a double top here inside of a rising wedge, though. That's not a good look. You might have to be a little bit more careful. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching. Hey everyone, today's sponsor is WEEX, a global crypto trading exchange where you can trade hundreds of cryptocurrencies, use futures and spot markets, and even copy expert traders, all from one secure platform. If you want to check it out, the link is in the description below. Thanks.